Hello, my friends. Today is Thursday, the 17th of May, and I'm doing another lunchtime walk. My name is Joel, and today we're going to talk about honesty. But before I get into it, this is the Elm Creek Trail. I'm walking from Innis Park in Columbus, Ohio. Just doing a walk. It's part of my 500 miles over the summer. And I'm just kind of doing this video blog as I go along. And I hope you enjoy it. So today we're going to talk about honesty, and that is actually the first thing that you need to do if you want to really supercharge your life. It's one of those core value kind of things. And those 5 things that we are going to talk about over the next couple of weeks in detail are honesty, open-minded, willingness, and those 3 will give you faith, but it's those 3: open-minded, it's honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. And then the last 2 are to live your life with intention, which we also talked about. In other words, set goals and make plans. And then the last one is to put it all into action. That's it. That's really it. So it's just honest, open-minded, willingness, goals and plans, and put it into action. We're going to talk about honesty today. So it is so beautiful out. I thought it was going to be really hot. It's actually not that hot. So, we all know what it means to be honest, though some of us know better than others. The thing is, many of us think we can go through life cheating and trying to get by, doing the minimum or bending the rules, and I've heard comedians and other people talk about this whole concept of bending the rules. What it really comes down to is, I've heard it said that rules are meant to be broken. Rules are really about setting boundaries, about what works and what doesn't. And most rules are about keeping us safe. It's about you don't want to do that, because if you do that, you're going to either get hurt or die, or you're just going to waste your time. So if you're not honest, you basically are, lying, right? Well, it's more than that. It's you're not really being true to yourself. You're just kind of cheating, and you're being a little bit like a bull in a china shop, and just kind of pushing your way through walls and breaking everything in your path, and no consideration of others, no consideration. The AA Big Book talks about how the core of our problem is that we're selfish, self-centered, and inconsiderate. And I have to say that most of us are that. Most of us have an agenda, whatever that may be, whether we're aware of it or not, and we're going to follow that agenda no matter what. It's sort of like we are little programmed robots. I had a sponsor who used to say to me all the time, do you want to go through life as a zombie, or would you like to be alive, living every moment? And then he would follow it up, if you want to be alive, you need to start getting honest. And that means really being aware of yourself, being aware of what you're about, being aware of what you want. And then you can make good choices. Now, being aware of what you want, which also means being aware of what you believe, because what you believe is really the core of that causes all your behavior. What you believe are all your values that you hold. Now, if you break those values because you also have some sort of huge desire to please other people, you're going to be unhappy. Anytime you do something that's contrary to who you are and what you believe, you're going to be unhappy. Now, so you got two choices. You either become true to yourself, in other words, be honest, or you can change what you believe, which is always a good approach also, because quite often what we believe is false. It doesn't work. Somehow it got formed. One of those core beliefs is the belief that we can get away with things. And when you get away with things, you're cheating through life and you're being dishonest. So, if you want to be honest, one of the very first things you need to do is you have to know yourself and be true to yourself. All right. So we have another word that we use, and that's called integrity. Being honest means having integrity. I once heard the best definition of integrity is that when you are by yourself, you will do the same things as when you're in front of other people. It means that you will always be true to yourself. So you want to make your actions match your words. That's being true and honest. So it's kind of important that we do that. You want to be sincere about everything that you are. That's called being genuine. That's another word that represents being honest. You want to be open to feedback, and when you give feedback, you want to be truthful. However, I'm going to say we do have a slogan that I really love. It is say what you mean what you say, but don't say it meanly. So if you're going to give feedback, you want to be kind. Now, if what you're about to say is going to really hurt them, you need to really check yourself and ask yourself what it is you're trying to get. Now, if they're asking for feedback, now if you do it in a kind manner and it hurts them, that's really their choice. But if they're not asking for feedback and you're giving it anyway, or you're giving advice anyway, and you're just being cruel and mean, then you're not being honest. Now, you may think you're being honest, but you're not. You're just being cruel and mean. That's all you are. Likewise, if somebody is giving you feedback, you don't want to shoot the messenger. You want to listen and consider what they're saying. Now, this is bleeding over to being open-minded, but so much does. Now, here's some things that'll help you be honest, have integrity, and ultimately be a trustful person. Yeah, see, that's Owen Creek. Water's kind of low today. Guy's on a scooter, a motorized scooter. So, the first thing is to be responsible. Be responsible to yourself. So that means recognizing that the only thing that you have to be responsible for is your own thoughts, feelings, and actions, and ultimately what you believe. So if what you're doing is not getting you where you are, where you want to be, you need to take a look at it and ask yourself, am I actually following my heart, or what I believe, my values? Am I being true to myself? That's a good question to ask. Likewise, if somebody is blaming you for something, take a look at that. Just don't outright reject it. But the only thing you have to ever consider is what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're doing. And if you're doing something that is hurting another person, really double look at that and say, what can I do to be a better person? Because ultimately, remember, what we want is to feel good about ourselves. When we want to accomplish things, the only way you're going to accomplish things is if you truly feel good about yourself, if you believe in what you're doing, having that faith. So you want to think before you speak. I have another slogan, go for the pause. The pause is probably the most important moment in your life. Anytime you have a chance to have a pause, take it. Think for a second. It could be instantaneous, but you're thinking about what you're about to say. If somebody is asking you a question, just don't blurt out the first thing that comes in your head. Think about it. What is the impact of what you're about to say? Likewise, think before you do. The actions that you're taking may have a far-reaching effects. And you don't want to have anything that you're going to be ashamed or regret. Again, say what you mean what you say, don't say it meanly. Love that slogan. Okay, so you're going to say what you mean. It means you're going to be true to yourself. You're not going to lie. You're not going to bend it in any way. Mean what you say. And that means you need to believe in what you're saying. Don't say it if you don't really believe it. And don't say it meanly. So to always be kind. You want to bend over backwards to communicate in an open and genuine manner. What I mean by that is that you want to be open to people, share yourself, you're not guarding yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you should be careful and just blurt out everything to total strangers. But what's appropriate in a given moment is appropriate. Just do it. Say your piece. And you want to be genuine. You want to be real. You want to be who you are. Of course, if you don't know who you are, you have some thinking or maybe even some writing to do. You want to keep it simple. So the best way to talk is in simple statements. Don't assume the other person knows what you are thinking or feeling. This is where a lot of people get into trouble. Okay, and they get angry and frustrated with other people, but they only say half sentences. It's like you request something and you say, hey, could you let me in? And the other person's like, let you in? You're in already. What you're really trying to say is, will you trust me enough to actually, people don't understand everything that you're saying. If you say, just blurt it out, did you get it? The person's gonna be like, get what? But if you meant to say, did you stop at the store and get it? See, you're assuming the other person knows what you're talking about. And if you're switching gears or you're just coming up to the person, your friend, for the first time, they're not going to know what you're talking about. So you need to use complete sentences. That's part of being honest. Also, you can't assume that people know what you feel. People don't know what you feel. People play this game where they're trying to guess what you feel, and quite often our faces and body language will betray us, but often we get that wrong anyway. So the assumption that we know what other people are feeling or even thinking is really, we're just fooling ourselves. Likewise, when you go and you communicate with people, you cannot assume that they know how you're actually feeling. So if you're feeling sad and you go to somebody, oh, I really wish that didn't happen, you're not really communicating that you're feeling sad. You're just communicating that you wish that didn't happen. Now, if you said, I really wish that didn't happen because that's just so sad. It hurts my heart. Now that's an honest statement. Now you do want to be truthful and tell it like it is. You don't want to sugarcoat things. But at the same time, you want to be kind and not harsh. If you're coming off harsh, people are going to shut down. They don't even want to hear you. If you want to communicate, you want to live your life well, you need to always be kind. You want to tell people the rationale behind your decisions so that your intent is understood. So if you make a decision, just don't assume that they don't need to know. Okay? It's like, no, I'm not going to that restaurant tonight. People are like, why? Why won't you go to that restaurant? That's so frustrating. People get very frustrated when people are not very communicative. But if you say, I don't want to go to that restaurant tonight because I'm just not feeling like Indian food or Italian food or whatever it is. Or I really just want to stay home and watch TV. That's honest. So likewise, you want to make sure you understand clearly what someone is saying to you by saying back to them what you think you heard. Now that may feel like you're being redundant or even pointing out the obvious. And hey, my wife calls me Captain Obvious, but it's me just trying to be clear. It's okay to be Captain Obvious. It's okay to repeat back what people are saying, because that's probably the best way of knowing what they're really saying. Make sure that you heard them right, because when you assume that you're hearing them right, I can pretty much assure you that you're not. You're not hearing them right. Okay. You don't want to shoot the messenger. So if somebody is telling you some truth of some kind or a message and it's upsetting you, you want to thank them for being honest, and you want to treat that information as a gift. That doesn't mean you have to accept it. If you figure out that something that you have said or done has been misinterpreted, get it on the record right away what you really meant. You know, you just don't assume that people are going to figure it out. If you make a mistake and you realize you made the mistake, just don't avoid it. Admit it right away. I have to admit that I'm not the best at that one, but it is something I am working on. Don't compromise your integrity and reputation by associating with people that you don't trust. So if somebody has proven to you that they are not very trustworthy, don't be with them. Associate with people who you can truly trust. Be with those people. You want to be with positive, good people who are truly loving and have big hearts and are very giving of themselves. You know, even if they get shit on and they're unhappy, that will go away. We have a phrase, what comes around goes around. It talks about karma. Okay? Let me tell you, it's all about reputation. If people catch you at lies, they will never trust you. So you want to be honest. Now, if you have goals, and those goals involve people, you want people to trust you. People will willingly do for you and help you and be around you if they can trust you. But if you're not a trustworthy person, because you're a scoundrel, they're not going to want to associate with you. Well, unless they're scoundrels too. There's a cosmic law, and I remember reading this in a book called Illusions years and years ago by Richard Bach. And the cosmic law is like attracts like. And what that refers to is that when we are with other people, it's because there are things in them that are matching things in ourselves. And we may not be aware of what those things are. I'm going to tell you they're much deeper than the skin, okay? So skin shallow, skin deep is just, you know, it's like, why is that guy with that woman? He's so mugly, and yet she's so beautiful. But you got to look deeper. He's probably the biggest sweetheart on the face of the earth. And she is also probably got a huge heart and is generous and loving. That's what's keeping them together. That's what's attracting them one to the other. It goes deeper than that even. We are attracted to people. When we talk about soulmates, it's because we match at such a deep level. And we can't even comprehend that level. Being honest is really one of those core things. Okay, it means I'm going to stop denying what I've been doing. I'm going to start admitting what I've been doing. It's essentially step 1, but it's also step 5. Okay? And it's also step 8 and 9. Oh, and 6 and 7. Oh my God, it's in every step. It is. It's every step. It's one of those core concepts that if I want to accomplish and I want to get something done, like recovery, I want to be a recovered person, I need to get honest first. And I need to stay honest. We all are capable of honesty to some degree. The only reason we're not honest and we try to cheat life is because we're so afraid. When we lie, it's because we're afraid of what the other people are going to think or say or do. If you didn't have that fear, you wouldn't have a need to lie. Unless you are on purposely trying to mislead the person for some nefarious need of your own, some agenda. Then you're really being dishonest. Fear is the root cause of all our problems. It is essentially the devil or Satan. It speaks in your ear 24/7. It's in your heart and in your mind all the time. It's bending your perception. It's bending what you think. And it all comes down to those beliefs you have. If you don't like being afraid all the time, you need help from a higher, bigger source. God, or whatever you call that higher power. Just give all that fear to him. If he's powerful enough to take care of the universe, he's certainly capable of taking care of your little things that you're afraid of. I personally rely very heavily on my higher power. He is the cornerstone of my life, and he is love. He is the universe. I highly recommend that you start giving that to your higher power. Whatever concept of that you may have. All right, my friends, we talked about honesty, or I talked about honesty, and I walked, and I'm hoping to get one of those stabilizers for my phone so that when I walk it doesn't shake so much and the videos will be more enjoyable. And with that, I bid you adieu.